What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Alombre, joined by Matthew DeSantis. Matthew, we have three big prep races this weekend. Two today, one tomorrow. This is kind of a last minute, what are we betting to win type of event. We're going to keep this short and sweet. What race do you want to touch on first, Matthew? Let's knock these out real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's head chronological order, and let's start with the Jeff Ruby Stakes at Turfway Park. Of course, this is the race that Rich Strike came out of last year to shock the world and win the Kentucky Derby. So I think this is a really strong field. I'll be honest, I think this is better than last year's field at the Jeff Ruby Stakes. Some really strong contenders in here. El Hombre, where are you going with this one?
Well, first, are you saying the Kentucky Derby winner's coming out of Turfway Park again?
I'm saying that it wouldn't surprise me, especially in this wide open of a crop.
After last year's Kentucky Derby, nothing would surprise me. So, yeah, I went with what I perceived to be the second chalk here, the 10-horse Two Phils. And I think that I haven't seen enough out of Major Dude, who is the morning line favorite, I believe, at 5-2. I don't know. I just feel like Two Phils has been that horse. We've talked about him all prep season about how he's just been consistent, shows up, kind of a workhorse. Hasn't really had an off day. I don't know. I like Two Phils here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, Two Phils is my win bet as well. I think that he'll sit just off the pace. There is going to be a lot of speed in this race. That's not particularly beneficial at Turfway. You do get eaten up on that synthetic sometimes. We saw that in the Battaglia. But Two Phils is just run against a better class of horse, quite frankly, than everybody else in this field. I'll use him, Major Dude, making the transition from turf to synthetic, not always a one-to-one proxy. I will say that if Two Phils starts getting bet down a little too much, a horse that I am interested in is right next door, the number 11 horse, Wadsworth, 8-1 on the morning line, might give you a little bit more value. Again, if Major Dude and Two Phils gets to be too short of a price for you, I think Wadsworth, who has demonstrated the ability to run well on synthetic and sit off the pace and then launch late, like that horse a lot.
Who do you consider a horse that you have to get put underneath if you're going to play exotics?
I think Wadsworth is definitely that horse to consider. The other one I would mention is Congruent, the number 8 horse. He's going to come running late with that hot pace, and I don't know if he gets there against this caliber of horse, but he ran so well in the Battaglia last time out, you can't discount him.
Yeah, I have the 8 Congruent as my underneath horse as well, and Major Dude. I think if you're going to go to a trifecta, I think you almost have to keep him in there considered. So, yeah, we're on the same page a little bit. So, good stuff. What do we have next? We'll keep this short and sweet, like I said.
The
Louisiana Derby over at Fairgrounds, I assume, since that's the next race.
Absolutely, yeah. No,
the next top 15 horse or a 15 race card, which is wild.
It is wild, and race 12 of that 15 race card is the Grade 2 Louisiana Derby, 1 3/16 miles. And this is a pretty stacked field. El Hombre, where are you going in this one? Obviously, there's the heavy favorite Instant Coffee, the number 2 horse, who really has done nothing wrong and has asserted himself as one of the Derby favorites, but feels like this is a play against type of race.
Yeah, and that's the only reason I'm going to play against him is because I think you almost have to if you're going to bet it. I think he's the best horse. I think he could easily, I won't say easily win, but I think he's a deserving favorite here at 2-1 morning line. If you can get that out of him, I can see making that bet. But I'm going after Kings Barnes, the 6. You guys, the Trust the Profits team, put me on Kings Barnes about, 6 weeks ago or so to keep an eye on. And he has not done anything wrong. And as you can see, look at, by the way, that last race, who was second to him? None other than Mikey Bananas, who's a Trust the Profits legend. But yeah, I just, if you're going to try to find a little bit of a price, and I honestly don't think he's going to go off at 6-1. I think he's going to be bet down from there. But as far as underneath Kings Barnes, I think you have to play Instant Coffee. I'll probably box those two as an exacta to be safe because I think that's going to be your top 2. Are you reaching anywhere else, or I guess where are you at on this race altogether?
Yeah, so I'll go like you. Kings Barnes is my top choice. I think that he is going to take a lot of money. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes off at around 4-1, 7-2, that area. I still think that's probably a fair enough price. If he starts tipping below 7-2, I might not have a lot of interest in betting him to win, but he's just so impressive. The thing I love about him is there's not a lot of pace in this particular race. I would expect Jace's Road from the outside, maybe Shopper's Revenge from the far inside to go in the lead. The beautiful thing about Kings Barnes is he sat 3rd and 4th in his first 2 efforts. I think that's exactly where he sits again, and he just has the perfect trip. He's routed twice at Tampa. He showed ascending speed figures. I think this is Todd Pletcher's actually best Derby horse outside of Forte. I mean, we talk about Tapatrice and a few others, but I think Kings Barnes is that horse. I will say, from a value standpoint, I'm worried about Instant Coffee getting home. There's not a lot of pace, as I said. He's a rather pace-dependent horse and launches late. And there's also a lot of traffic. It's a 12-horse field. Does he get through everybody? As a result, I really like the number 7 horse right next door to Kingsbarns, Cagliostro, for Cherie DeVoe. This is a horse that I feel like the switch has finally been flipped on him, and he's kind of figured it all out. He was a little bit headstrong as a youngster, and he's starting to run much more mature. Had ran a really big speed figure last time out. I think we're only starting to see the best of this horse. He should be sitting a mid-pack trip as well, not too far back. I like Cagliostro there at 12-1 on the morning line to give you a little bit of value, and he might go down a little bit because there's some buzz about him, but I'd be shocked if he went off below 8-1 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. In a 12-horse field like this, I mean, any of the horses that are pace dependent, if they have a tactically bad trip, I mean, it opens the door for a horse like Cagliostro or a couple others. So it could be a race. It's a good betting race if nothing else, because I think Instant Coffee. What would you guess? 8-5 or something post time?
That's what I'm thinking too. I think
he's going to go sub 1-1. Do you?
No, he's not going to go sub 1-1 because of the presence of Kingsbarns. So I think Kingsbarns is going to keep this race honest in terms of what the Instant Coffee price is going to go off at, but he's going to go down from 2-1 for sure. I would be shocked if he was not 8-5. Probably 7-5, 8-5. I think that's probably where he goes off.
And I think we can hammer Kingsbarns if he's anywhere around 4-1 or above. And I think
absolutely.
We might get that. We might get that today. So it's a good betting race. And let's close it out with a race that's actually happening Sunday. I don't know do you happen to have the post time on hand? I'm sure it's late afternoon.
It's around 6 o'clock. Yeah, it's around 6 o'clock Eastern.
And this is now a 6-horse field because breaking news, I guess, I don't know when the news broke, but Fort Bragg's actually going to the Florida Derby and was originally listed as an entry here. So, and actually it was my choice to win this race before that happened. So where are you at on this Sunland Derby again on Sunday?
Yeah, on Sunday, so this is a race where I am actually looking at 2 particular horses. I think there's obviously the Baffert entry of the hard to figure. You have to figure that he's going to get really bet down. As a result, I'm actually going to go with Henry Q, the number 4 horse for Todd Fincher. He's a big time trainer out there on that Southwest circuit. And this is a horse that I thought looked really, really good a couple times out and also ran really effectively. Like I said, last time out in particular, can wire the field, but also can come from off the pace. He used to be in Doug O'Neill's barn, now in Fincher's. At 3-1 in the morning line, he might actually float up a little bit because I'd imagine a lot of money is going to go to hard to figure in that number 6 post for Baffert. But I like Henry Q a little bit here, and I'll probably box Henry Q and hard to figure in some capacity if I was playing a vertical exotic.
Yeah, I think with the scratch of Fort Bragg, it really changes the complexion of how to bet this race, because I think it's one of those races that's unbettable, from the perspective of trying to win. If you have any faith in hard to figure, which I think is the best horse, easily the Baffert with Flavian Pratt. It's hard. It's going to be hard to beat him here. And I guess Henry Q would be the second choice, but I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of value there either.
Right.
So it's one of those races where you either lay off and don't bet to me, or you bet you hope that hard to figure goes somewhere off even money, which I doubt, but or maybe a straight exact 6-4 hard to figure over Henry Q. Yeah. I don't see any of the others getting involved, but who knows? If you've got a pick here that's not hard to figure, there's probably some good value in a short field, but I'll probably lay off this race completely, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think, how do you do that? The Steve Asmussen horse on the inside rail, some people might look at just because of the big name connections. Thing is, underneath, that's all sprinter pedigree, and also lost to One Vermilion last time out, who's also in this race. And One in Vermilion actually is an interesting horse, but is kind of a one-note horse, needs the lead for the most part, and is taking a step up, obviously, in competition. From a speed figure standpoint, it's really hard to get past the 6 and 4 in any capacity.
Exactly. We're in agreement. Seems like we're in agreement on all 3, which is a little scary. That means that there's going to be some excitement in at least one of these where a big price gets involved, and we've seen it all season. It's been an interesting season without a whole lot of dominant horses projecting themselves out there yet. So, Matt, thanks for joining. Let's keep this short and sweet. And thanks, everybody, for watching. Please hit subscribe, like the video, comment, tell us if we're stupid, tell us if we're brilliant, whatever you want to tell us. But, yeah, do it all. So, thanks, everybody, for joining, and peace out. Good luck.